Today's world is constantly evolving as technology is increasingly breaking barriers and making available information just at a click of a button. This gained greater impetus with the outbreak of the coronavirus, which created a new normal, as physical contact was de-emphasized as a way of curbing the spread of the virus. On this episode of Frontiers, we shall be taking a look at the Nigeria Learning Passport, an online mobile and offline learning platform for primary and secondary school students. I am Obiageli Ugoke, and our guest is UNICEF Nigeria country representative, Peter Hawkins. Glad to have you on the program.
It's great to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
The program continues in just a moment. Do stay with us.
Before COVID-19, about 10.5 million Nigerian children between the ages of 5 and 14 were out of school, with more than an estimated 9.7 million facing the potential risk of not being able to return to school. UNICEF country representative to Nigeria, Peter Hawkins, stated that with the many attacks on learning institutions and adoption of students had made parents fearful of sending their children to school, he said, the COVID-19 pandemic has widened the digital divide, with 2/3 of the world's children having no access to internet in their homes. With this challenge, he explained, Nigeria needs to bridge the gap through a platform to ensure that children's education receive priority attention.
It will allow adolescent girls, the most deprived of all our society, to access things whenever they want and however they want.
The aim of the platform is to reduce the burden of the out-of-school children and ensure that more children are enrolled in schools. By deploying innovations like the Nigeria Learning Passport that rethinks the current methodologies, including new approaches to delivering education in a way that defiles digital divide and ensures learning continue in emergencies, a measure of stability is expected in the education of the children.
The growth of technology and the increasingly broad range of actors providing online learning means and access connotes that we can deliver learning opportunities anywhere.
For countries that are suffering, like third world countries, this will boost our economy because by the time we grow up, with the information we will gather, we can make everything better for ourselves.
For communities without connectivity, an offline hub is being developed. The project targets a total of 3 million learners in 2022, with an expectation that by 2025, a total of 12 million students would have increased access to education.
Once again, you're welcome to the program. All right, what is the whole idea behind initiating the Nigeria Learning Passport, and of what importance is it to UNICEF?
The Nigeria Learning Passport is very important to children in Nigeria, but also globally around the world. It's an initiative by UNICEF and Microsoft who developed the platform. And then now between UNICEF and the Ministry of Education, who are developing the curriculum for Nigeria. That curriculum has been developed for all classes from basic education through to secondary school, with junior secondary school and so on in between. It's there so that children can access the curriculum online offline or through their mobile. They can navigate through it to pick the parts that they want. It's sustainable because it's powered by Microsoft, so it will be there. It's not only Nigeria, but the Nigeria content is there for Nigeria. So Nigeria Learning Passport is for Nigerian children to enhance their learning, and the passport is to give them access to that information and that learning so that they can benefit from it and complement their life skills, their educational learning that they do at school, or anything else that they do elsewhere.
Now, how can students access this Nigeria Learning Passport? And also bearing in mind that there are some children who are not computer literate. So how is it going to be possible for them to be able to manipulate and
It's
get
easily,
access?
it's easily accessible. One, it's in the 4 languages. It's English, Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo. Two, it's on an app, so it's very easily accessible. It's going to be on Google. It will be on iOS when we launch it after this week. So it's very easily accessible. Children are far more adept at accessing these things than adults are, and especially the older adults. So I think children will be able to navigate, will be able to access it, and be able to achieve the results that we're looking for. It might be that the children are helping their teachers to do it more and more, but it will be accessible. The difficulty is going to be to ensure that no child is left behind. So we are, in the same time as Nigeria Learning Passport going out, is looking at school-to-school connectivity, looking at expanding the digital platform so that all communities can access data in one form or another. And then there is the inevitable problem about devices. What we have found that wherever you go, there are always devices. It's about children being able to access that device and be able to increase the number of devices that are available, say in a school or in a community, or indeed in a family, so that all children can access this when they want to.
Is there any form of sensitization prior to the launch of it that would equip them with the necessary tools that is required in accessing this platform?
Well, already 30,500 teachers have been trained so that they can help children to access it, help children to understand what it is and to be able to then access it. It will be launched on Thursday in a big launch right across the country, but the app is already accessible. You can look at it now. It's already been there and been trialed for six months. The Minister of Education has done an incredible job in being able to ensure that people understand it. So there's a 24-hour helpline and all of those sort of things. And then from the launch at the end of this week, we will be looking for 4.5 million children to access it over the next 2 years, and 12 million children up to 2025. And I think that's probably about a realistic objective in a country the size of Nigeria, where there are 40 million in school education all the time. If we can get 12 million initially to access it, then the rest will come in automatically.
Now, taking a look at the way this platform is designed, it requires laptop, it requires smartphones, either ways. So how would children or students who do not have these gadgets be able to access the platform?
It is about sharing. As I said, the device issue is still going to be there. There are many devices around the country. It's about children accessing those devices, whether at school, whether in the community, or at home. And we are looking, the Minister of Education, UNICEF, and other private sector people, at how we can increase the number of devices, especially at school, so that people can access it, but also at home, how we can look at tablets, for example, that allow children to access these materials and other materials to benefit their own learning.
Yeah, Nigeria Learning Passports is to provide access to learning wherever the learners are. Now, will there be still need to learn in school, or for children to attend schools?
Absolutely. I mean, school education is imperative. What and why? It's because they have interaction with other children, they have interaction with the teachers face to face, and that is critical for any life skill, whether it's learning or any other life skill that is important. But what the Nigeria Learning Passport does is allow those children going to school to be able to access information after school, in the evening, early in the morning, during school. It also, those children out of school can access learning materials and be able to look at it, whether in the community with colleagues or at home on their own. It also allows for when there's an interruption with education, as indeed we saw in 2020 for 6 months, there's continuous learning.
That's during the COVID-19.
During the COVID-19. Or I've just been in Zamfara and Katsina and Sokoto, where there is conflict or banditry and the schools are closed down, as indeed some of the schools are still closed in Zamfara. Those children can still access some sort of learning 24 hours beyond the school.
What about for students, maybe the younger ones, who are still learning how to read? Does it have any platform for such equipping the children, or rather educating them on how to pick little words and combine their figures as well as objects together?
It does. It doesn't. You know, younger children will navigate this system much better than any of us. It's instinctive. They know what to do and they know how to do it.
Really?
It doesn't, though, help with the tiny children on the basics of that. Those are specialized areas that require different type of specialism. But for basic education, people going into basic education, it does. And they are much better at accessing than, I wouldn't like to call for you, but certainly for me, while I feel I'm quite good, but I know younger children are much, much better at being able to access these sort of things. It's much more instinctive, they know where to go, and they know how to do it.
All right, Mr. Hawkins, we'll pause there for a while. I'll get back to you. You're watching Frontiers, and the program continues shortly. Do stay with us. Glad to have you back. The platform is expected to provide a digitized curriculum, providing instructional and supplementary learning materials in all core curricular subjects for primary and secondary schools. Will it also take into cognizance the curriculum of Nigerian schools?
Totally, it's all the curriculum. It's the entire curriculum for Nigeria. It's been tailor-made for Nigeria. The Nigeria Learning Passport is about Nigeria, for Nigeria children using the Nigeria curriculum. So it's all, I can't remember how many things. It's within the thousands, if not the tens of thousands of the curriculum that has been downloaded on the system, and even more stuff can be downloaded. And at state level, their own material can be downloaded onto this and used by the young people.
You talked about having teachers who act as instructors to put the students through in all of this. Are these teachers also equipped with the necessary information as to how to combine it with the curriculum?
They are, and part of that training is to help them do that. But the main role for these people is to help the children understand what is available there and how to access it. But it's simple. Go on any app and download Nigeria Learning Passport. Go to Nigeria Learning Passport at education.gov.ng. It can be done. And all of these things are where you and I can access it, or a child can access it in their own home, or at a school they can do exactly the same.
Now, how many learners is the project targeted at reaching?
So over the next 2 years, up to 2023, 4.5 million, and up to 2025, 12 million. And that's the target out of the 40 million that go to school. And we will overreach that target once it starts to become a norm, whether at school or at home or in the communities. And the Nigeria Learning Passport is a massive step change of the way that children can learn. But it only complements schools and education at schools, and only is complemented by further expansion of the digital platform and school-to-school connectivity and other initiatives that UNICEF is heavily involved in.
All right, your target is quite huge, I must say. How do UNICEF intend to achieve that?
It's the Ministry of Education more than anything, through state ministries of education. As I said, I was in Zamfara and Katsina. All the state Ministry of Education people were talking about the Learning Passport, and it was very excited by the prospect of being able to allow their young people, their girls and boys, to be able to access this and complement what they are delivering themselves.
Now, Nigeria is said to have a high number of out-of-school children. Do you think the Nigeria Learning Passport will help reduce the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria?
It won't help to reduce the number of out-of-school children, but what it will do is allow the out-of-school children to continue their learning. Gives them a different tool to be able to expand their learning capability. Help them with literacy, numeracy, help them with other life skills that are so essential. In Katsina, I saw for myself out-of-school children who've come back into the educational fold. This will help them accelerate their education or their learning for school, so that they can catch up with the curriculum at the same time as school. So there are multiple issues that this will help to overcome, multiple challenges. It helps to overcome conflict, it helps to overcome a pandemic, it helps to overcome out-of-school children who can access learning in a way that is approachable, and for those who are going back into education to catch up with education if their education has been interrupted.
All right, Mr. Hawkins, before I allow you to go, what is your advice to Nigerians concerning this platform and how best to utilize it?
First of all, foremost, try it out. Go for it. Look at it. Grab your parents' mobile phone. Go download the app. Look at it. Explore it. Look at what it is there. For schools, is share it with your pupils. Show them what is achievable, what is possible through the app, or online or offline. For out-of-school children and the communities and people working with those out-of-school children, especially the offline one, allow those who have no access to formal learning to access it through online, offline or mobile initiatives, so that they can access Nigeria Learning Passport. It is about Nigerian children learning and being able to access that learning wherever they are, so no child is left behind.
Wow, that's quite commendable, and we really do appreciate UNICEF for this great initiative. Looking forward to change the narrative, and more especially getting more children, especially those who have not seen the forward of education classes, to get involved. At least it will help them start somewhere. Thank you very much once more, Mr. Hawkins, for coming to NTA International Studio and for giving us the insights on this great initiative.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's great to talk to you about it.
We have been looking at the Nigerian Learning Passport, an online mobile and offline learning platform for primary and secondary school students. And our guest has been the UNICEF Nigeria country representative, Peter Hawkins. Ensure you observe all COVID-19 protocols. Thanks for watching. My name is Obiageli Ugoke.